Hi everyone, it's Diane Brennan. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm doing a video I said I wasn't going to do because I said I was not going to do any VRs on my channel to the tarot tube tags because my channel is not strictly a tarot channel. It is not part of tarot tube per se, like strictly whatever. But it's a holiday weekend here in the US and it's Friday and I felt it needed to be a fun day. And I decided this might not be a bad idea because while my entire audience may not be part of TarotTube, some of you are here because I do use tarot as part of my life coaching practice because it's a very spiritual approach to the life coaching. And so I thought this would give you a good idea of the decks that I use in my personal and business practice, because some of these definitely have overlap. So this is a VR to Simon over at the Hermit's Cave, and his hashtag 10 decks for life, the 10 decks that are never leaving my collection. Now, if you've watched me in the past when I did have a totally tarot or almost all tarot channel, then you've seen me do top 10 favorites. I think I've done something similar about like the 10 decks I would never give up. That list has changed for two reasons. One, some new decks have come into my collection since all those videos. And two, I've made a huge decision that I have been sitting with for a couple of years because I haven't used a single Rider-Waite-Smith base deck or any other Golden Dawn base deck for 7 years now, ever since 2019. When I did my depth year with the Tarot de Marseille and fell head over heels in love and stayed there. I wasn't sure. I actually had thought about the next year, 2020, I was going to do a Rider-Waite-Smith depth year. And then I never did because that year, that 2019, and studying with Camellia Elias totally changed how I read the cards forever. Changed how I see them, how I interpret them, how I read them, the associations I have with them. Everything about my tarot practice changed. So, to get on to the list now. And they're not in any particular order. I don't have a like number 1 through number 10 rating on these. These are just the 10 decks that I'm going to tell you right now will never, ever, ever leave my collection. And decks that have been on the list in the past, you may be surprised to find I'm actually preparing to let go. Because I've tried and I can't use them anymore. I just can't. So even a deck that was formerly a soul deck of mine is on my list to let go. So, and Simon, if you're watching this, you may recall what that deck is, because that's the whole reason you bought it in the first place. The first deck, Shakespeare Tarot by Luigi Scapini. I love Scapini's work. It's cheeky. There is a little bit of a Rider-Waite-Smith element to this in a way, and some of the illustrations he chose from Shakespeare's different plays. But I can ignore that because overall, it's very Tarot de Marseille. And that's true of, well, 2 at least out of his 3 decks. But then there is some illustration to it. And I find them cheeky and funny. So I just kind of really get a good kick out of them and pay more attention to the pips. I do like how he's kind of got the 10 of cups down here and spilling out, because this spilling is one of the meanings for the Ten of Cups. It's like your cup runneth over, or, you know, it can be the end of a good time. So basically your good, the good is spilling out of your life, is one of the meanings for that in the Tarot de Marseille system. Anyway, I'm not going to do full flip throughs. If anybody wants to see a full walkthrough of any of these decks, please let me know. But I just wanted to give you enough to get a good representation of his art. This is an out-of-print deck. This was a very expensive deck. It was definitely an investment. I'm glad I did. I can riffle shuffle it, but I tend to waterfall it because that works better. And I keep it in this lovely hot pink leather bag that I got from Etsy from a shop that sadly is now closed, My Grandmother's Hands. Kim Soros and her husband do wonderful work. I have several of their bags. And then, because it is hot pink, and the suede is on the outside, but the hot pink leather is on the inside, and that does mean it's dyed. Just to make sure that these cards, because this deck is a little precious to me because of what I paid for it, is one of my maternal grandmothers, or my nanas, which now I'm a nana, isn't that fun? Hankies, because it matches the bag and has the hot pink and this beautiful floral pattern. And so I wrapped the cards in that first and then placed them in the bag, just to keep that hot pink from ever wearing off on those edges and bleeding onto them. That is out right now as my current deck of the month for doing my daily draws. My next deck, I'm going to stick with Scapini. This was my first Scapini deck and where I fell in love with his artwork. And again, so this is the medieval Scapini. I fell in love with this deck when I got it. Because again, very not all of it very Tarot de Marseille, like these swords, this Nine of Swords is definitely kind of blends to me the Tarot de Marseille and the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is where I said Scapini's art is somewhat, somewhat Rider-Waite-Smith, somewhat Visconti. A lot of it, you can see the Visconti kind of styling in it too. I feel his art was very influenced by Visconti Sforza because he's got that longer body of that Italian Visconti style. And so, and then some of it kind of just not, but it's just a very fun deck. And since it has that art style that relates for me to the Viscontis and the Marseille in some ways, this is very Visconti. All of these gold backgrounds and stuff. This is definitely very Visconti style, very Italian style, because I mean, Scapini, right? He's Italian. So it makes sense that he was influenced by those decks. And again, just a very cheeky deck, very fun, colorful. I am all about fun, colorful, go ahead, make me laugh, make me giggle. And I keep it in this lovely, lovely silk, whoops. I'm going to try not to hit this too often, but it's hard because it's right in front of me. Cotton and Dupont silk bag from, sadly, another shop that's closed from Etsy was Wild Child Creations. And I wish Ona would open her shop up again. She did lovely, lovely work. And for a while there, she was actually a really dear friend. And I did some collaborations with her and another shop owner from Etsy, who's also closed, that I was friends with for a couple of my reading cloth and bag combinations. Anyway, I'll kind of move along in that same line and go, this is one of the newer ones into my collection. And I guess I have a thing for the Italian tarots. And this may not totally fit in my camera. I wish I could get my iPad to go this way, but at the moment, I don't have a way to do that. And this is the Visconti Sorza. So if you're not real familiar with tarot decks and understand the difference between, say, a Tarot de Marseille and a Visconti Sorza, hopefully this video will help you with that just a little bit. But see, here are those florals I was talking about with the medieval Scapini. You definitely see where that influence came from the Visconti Sorza. You see where this gold came from. Whoops, am I upside down? I am, okay, I'm upside down. I do not read reversals, so. But this was right. Just this one was upside down. Yeah, just that one was, okay. We'll get it together. But see what would be definitely a gold background on the quartz. And there's enough similarity between the Visconti and the Tarot de Marseille that to me this is a Marseille style deck, just the Italian style of Marseille. Gold background again. And these longer people with like the long feet that I was talking about that definitely influenced Scapini and how he draws his people. So Visconti Sorza, another deck, absolutely never ever leaving my collection. And this lovely bag, oh, I forgot to look up her shop name. Oh gosh darn it, Julie. Sulis. I think it's Sulis Creations on Etsy. She makes some amazing bags. I have a lot of hers too. Once I find a shop whose bags I really love, I tend to buy them. And she has both these like cotton bags with the Duponi silk in them, and then she has velvet bags with the Duponi silk in them. And since silk is something that tarot decks were originally kept in, at least certainly by the wealthy, tend to keep them in that. Now, still staying in Italian styling, but this one influenced more by the Soprafino. Now, here's where I'm going to cheat just a little bit, because this is the original Kickstarter version. Again, another lovely bag from Sulis Creations with this cotton print and this Dupioni silk, because I adore her bags. This is the Kickstarter original version of the Motronua Tarot. I did round the edges because I cannot take those sharp corners on my decks. I use my decks, I shuffle them. I'm not getting ouched. I don't know how else to say it, poked by sharp corners. I am about to, well, I just ordered as my part of my birthday gift to myself for this year, because sadly, I have nobody else that buys me birthday gifts. Nobody. My sons don't get me gifts. We've just never been a gift exchange family. What we used to do was get each other gift cards because we never knew what to buy each other. And now we just don't get each other anything, like ever since they became adults. And with my parents gone, I mean, literally, I have nobody that buys me birthday gifts except me. So I just ordered the second edition and the tableau. By the way, it's not tabletop, it's tableau edition. That's what, that tableau is French for tabletop. Edition of the Motronua. So those will be coming in hopefully within the next week or two. Way early for my birthday, but I don't care. By the time I get them corner rounded and soaked, we're probably, by the time they go into use, going to be approaching my birthday. And I think they're going to go in for January for my daily draw to open up the year, because I can't think of a more lovely deck than this. So probably the second edition, because it's a little smaller than the Kickstarter version, and it's brighter. And in the wintertime, I kind of like brighter, more vivid decks. But this artwork, Valentina DeLuca created an absolute masterpiece with this artwork. There is no other way to put it. She put a lot of work into this. She has a very personal touch when she mails these out and deals with you. She's very easy to talk to. We've gotten to know each other a bit, DMing on Instagram. I love her. She is so sweet. She really is. She's good peeps. You know what I mean? Good peeps. And this deck, again, based on the Soprafino, so again, steeped in the Italian tradition, and it's why this one trumps my Il Meninghello Soprafino. So if I was going to get rid of any of this style deck, it would actually be the Il Meninghello Soprafino that I would get rid of. I don't plan on it, but if I had to get rid of one, that would be the one, which is still produced, and easy to purchase, by the way. And this, just reach out to Matranua on Instagram, and I think also Facebook, and you can order these from her directly. I mean, they're precious. The price is actually, honestly, she charges less than they're worth, in my opinion. Note to you, Valentina. You could easily sell those for double and still sell them. I know you could, because they are just absolutely gorgeous. Just if you did that, I wouldn't have been able to buy two. I'd have had to have chosen between either the second edition or the tableau. So I'm looking forward to getting that. If I remember right, this is her mother. So a lot of the court cards are actually people in Valentina's life. It's a very personal deck. She really poured herself into this, and it shows. The cardstock is just absolutely, it's thick. It's amazing, but it shuffles. Even with this being the size it is, I mean, it's hard for my hands because of how big it is, but I can shuffle it. I just have to do it this way instead of this way. In the world, I have something stuck to my thumbnail. Okay, because I'm on felt, and so I must have a little bit of roughness there. All right, anyway. I did not edge it because it really matches into the fronts. I couldn't do that to this deck. I could corner around it, I couldn't edge it, but I did soap it so that it would really shuffle well, and to protect it, because that is the original way cards were laminated to protect them, is soap lamination. And it's very easy to do. There are videos out there if you're interested in learning how to do it. All right, get some of these off my desk. I have limited room here. Okay. I guess I'll do one more Italian deck before I go into the real Tarot de Marseille. This is a deck in and of itself. I love this bag that I got on Etsy. I forget from where, but it's a beautiful, beautiful bag. And this is what I house my Vachetta Tarot in, because it was just the colors were so right for it. Has a soft pink background to it, and a soft pink interior, all cotton. Very soft on the deck. So the Vachetta Tarot has this very traditional back. I believe it came with the rounded corners. If not, I rounded them. I'm not sure. I don't remember. This deck I have edged very softly with a, like a yellowy that matched. And I'm pretty sure that yes, I did. I edged this. This is a deck I have a backup for in case this ever goes out of print. Right now it's not, but if it ever does. But again, this cheeky, funny Italian style. This is some very different imagery, but it's still in that Italian tarot style. I mean, there was a point before the tarot went to Marseille, France, where it got standardized, where it was not standardized patterns, and that shows in decks like the Vachetta. And I guess to me that's why the medieval Scapini still kind of falls into this category, because again, there was this time when it wasn't standardized patterns. So his spilling of things and artistic interpretation of them is fine, because like, look at this. This is not a Tarot de Marseille pattern, and that's okay, because this is before that. I still absolutely read it like that. I love this guy, the King of Coins, counting his money out. You can see him as a banker, a money lender, somebody who's like watching his funds, saying, okay, this pile is for this, and okay, that one I can pay to over here. You can see many different things in this. But again, cheeky, fun, absolutely adore this deck. Colorful. The original was not colored, and it's the only version of this that I do not have, because that just inked outlined deck does nothing for me. I have 2 other color variations on this in my collection, but this is the one that makes the never leaving my collection. I would actually, if I had, you know, like if I was getting really decluttering my collection and taking it down to only 10 decks, these are those 10 decks that I would keep, just so you know. Okay, now I'm going to get into the Marseille. And I'm going to stick vintage here for a moment. Love this bag. This is a wrap that I also got. I buy a lot of bags on Etsy. You want to shop bags, that's the place to go. This bag is very colorful and totally matches the deck that's in it, because this is, if you recognize these backs, you can see again kind of traditional Marseille backs, the Spanish Tarot. And this is a true vintage copy. I have another one that was sold as a vintage copy that's too orange. It's not the vintage. The skin tones are what tells the difference. But I love the colors. Again, I love a bright and colorful deck. This I'm doing in September, because we kind of go from summer into fall, and we start going into orange colors as the green fades. So you start getting these colors, but you still have things like marigolds blooming and stuff. So you do still have flowers blooming. You still have wonderful color at that time of year. So to me, this is very much that like August, September kind of deck, or very much a spring deck, summer deck. You can use it really, I mean, any time of year. I'm just saying those are the seasons I tend to use it, and where I see it. But I absolutely love the Spanish Tarot. And this is getting into very true Marseille stylization for sure. We are definitely in the Marseille pattern here. But I love these colors, and I love these pips. This deck is just amazing to me. But so you can see what I mean about the skin tones. The newer, like after the vintage, somehow it turned really orange. And that's how you can tell for sure whether you have a vintage deck, a true vintage, or not. I'm not going to tie that back up right now. Okay. Sticking Marseille, based on the Conver, my Stone Marseille Tarot. And with this, I'm going to lump, and it's not in here to show you because I'm currently finishing the mod that I started last year. Started it in February, folks, of 2024. Then went through, I don't know, it got set aside. I kind of got bored with doing it because the cards are really large, and it just became tedious. And I was trying to finish it. No, February of 25. I'm sorry, February of 25, because it was after my divorce that I got that deck. So February of 25, I started it. Got bored. it got tedious. I got about a little over halfway through and I stopped because it has very hard black plastic edges and I'm turning it all brown. So I have it most of the way modded now. I have it all the black off and the brown, but now some of the first cards I did, I have to go back over, and that I'm going to be doing later today. So by the end of today, that's going to be finished. Finally. But, you know, the move happened and I never got back to it. Moving in with mom and moving from New Hampshire to here in West Virginia, and like, you know, decluttering dad's hoarding, which was horrible, broken wrist, just a lot of things happened last year and got in the way. And now I'm just finally like determined to get this done. Anyway, so the Stone Marseille Tarot and the Stone Visconti Tarot lumped together, as I will not get rid of those either, because I love these dark blue backgrounds. I love these colors. This is the Conver redone. And okay. And I positively adore this deck. I'm forgetting to flip them over and show you the other side. There we go. So that was the 4 of coins. That was the world. Oh, there we go. What's this? Why don't I turn it? Oh, you know what? I know what I have here. Hold on. Okay, that's what confused me. All right. Temperance. I mean, look at how beautiful these colors are and how they pop against, it's a navy blue background. I love dark backgrounds on a Marseille Tarot. I really do. I'm going to have to expand this decks that are never leaving my collection after I get a few more here, because there's a couple of Novas I'm getting ready to buy. And once I get those, they're not leaving my collection either, okay? Her Bacchus decks, I do not have a Vanderboer. And her 2nd edition and her embroidered Bacchus are about to add to this as decks that are coming into my collection and never ever leaving again. I mean, I love this deck. I tend to use this a lot in the summer, and I have an ocean deck that I pair it with for an oracle deck when I do my daily draws. It's not coming in this year. I've already chosen my decks, and that's because a deck I'm about to show you that I also adore is going to be next month's daily draw deck. And this is the absolutely adorable Pip Speak Tarot, which I'm gonna be honest, for a long time, I really looked at this and I was like, oh, that's just so childish. And I got the beautiful Moonlit Fae make a bag, and these were my choices for the fabrics. This comes from the Star card, and this is just a lot of the symbols that are in it. I love it. Her florals and her fruits, and I love this back. And again, you know, I love these colors, and I love the fact that some of the cards, the Pentacle suit has this black background, which really pops the colors off, but then she also has this gold, and she's taken the traditional back like this, and she has absolutely stunningly colored this. This is right up my alley. I love this deck. Brings out your inner child. August is my birthday month, so that's why this is coming out to play, because I really want to be more playful. I mean, I was born in 63, so I'm turning 63. All of those of us baby boomers that were born in 63 are turning 63 this year. But see, you can see that's... This is just, it is an adorable deck. It absolutely reads seriously, but it also makes you smile and laugh. So this is one of those that is great for shadow work and inner child work, because it still delivers that punch, but with a softer touch. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to swallow or stomach. So, and these gold, like how that shimmers, it's just a really, really gorgeous, gorgeous deck. And you'll be seeing how I pair it Look at all of that on Temperance, right? Even the pips have it. I mean, I just, like I said, hesitated at first, got it, absolutely fell in love with it. It was finally Masha's video on it that made me pull the trigger and get this one. I was like, okay, you know what? I have to have it. Next up, this is a deck that a lot of people didn't know about until they saw it on my previous channel for the first time. And this is the Tarot Sophistiqué by 3 Point Comics. Lovely bag off of a shop on Etsy. Padded, by the way, you can get these padded or unpadded. I bought the padded version of this one. And this is the Tarot Sophistiqué. This is the back. It's a very soft, this is kind of like a grayish, heathery, mauvey purple color. And it varies a little bit on the cards. We have like periwinkles and golds and persimmons. And this color palette is gorgeous. This is the only Tarot de Marseille I have that's in the kind of color block style instead of hard lines. This is the only one that has those softer color block lines because I can't stand most of those decks. But because this coloration is so much softer, I love it in this deck. It just makes it, it makes it perfect. If this was harder, harder, more solid lines, I don't think it would be as beautiful as it is. And you can tell when the pips are in the right direction, I've learned, because in the bottom right, we have the gold, and then not colored in the top left. So you can tell the direction, even though it's absolutely reversible, although I've never seen the point in reading Tarot de Marseille in reverse. And I've never really, I've experimented with it at one point, but I don't really ever read tarot anyway. Never did in reverse, because you don't need to get the shadow. You go by the cards around it. I mean, and this actually comes with the instructions for playing the game of Tarocchi. Because tarot started as a game. Just the soft colors. This is just an absolute beautiful. This is very much for me like a spring, early summer deck. And I just adore it. And then this has like tarot images on this bag. I love it. Because we have like the death card and okay, there we go. And we have the moon and stuff. They're not traditional tarot images, but they're named for the traditional tarot cards. A lot of them. Some of them are more traditional tarot images. You know, the Magician. So, the colors were perfect. Now, that took us up to technically number 9, even though I've mentioned a 10th deck already, plus 2 that are part of a set. This is another one of those sets because I have this in both the standard and the mini. And again, anybody who's watched my previous channel should know what deck this is, because again, this is in a matching bag by Moonlit Fae. I'm only going to show the one, but they are both the same images, just different scales. So this is the standard, and this is the Metanoia Marseille. And again, a lot of people had not seen this until I showed it. This is my working deck. Although, I'm going to tell you, when I get the tableau size of the Matronua, that is also going to be my other working deck. So I'm going to then have 2 working decks, because that tableau size Matronua will be about the same size. It's going to be like somewhere in between the mini of the Matronua. I'll show you just so you can see the sizes here. But since I haven't ordered them or anything, I'm not going to flip them side by side or anything. This isn't a comparison video. but you can see the size difference. And I believe, if I'm right, and I'll find out when I get it, that the tableau version of the Matra Nua is somewhere in between these two, which will make it a really good size for a working deck too. So maybe instead I'll do the mini just to get it in the camera better. Although, you know what, in the standard you can see the details just a little bit better. It's a beautiful, I mean, you can see them very clearly in that in person. And the mini is what I use pretty much because I work in a tray on my lap in the living room. I use this out at events more, and I use the other one when I'm working from home more, just because it fits, again, like in the camera better while I'm talking beside it. Especially holding up like multiple cards. It has these extra cards. We have the time is now, and there's another one that says it takes time. But these colors are so beautiful, and you know, the flourishes, she's just done such a beautiful, beautiful job on this deck. Still very traditional Marseille imagery, but in a contemporary take on it and a softer color palette. I do not like the primary colored decks. I don't own any of them because of that. The Pip Speak is different. It's not just a primary against white background, it's against the color backgrounds, and that makes it something that I really can take, and it has more colors than just the primary garish red, blue, green, yellow. I find that color palette garish. I found it that way in the Rider-Waite-Smith. I find it that way in many of the very popular traditional Terre de Marseille. But I love this color palette. I love these soft flourishes through it. I'll see, there we go. Okay, so if you look at this, you see these like extra colors coming off of it and give me, okay, so you know what I mean, you see these, she got like the raindrops in the swords. Really trying to find some of the, oh, I love this High Priestess. So there we go. This is what I was trying to get to and show, is this like wispy stuff on the cups. I love that. Anyway, so that is the Matenoia Marseille, both sizes being my working decks. And I mean, I love this deck, and I will tell you, it's been very popular out at events with both men and women, not just women, because it's not so feminine, but since it's softer, it's less harsh than, again, like those primary color Terre de Marseille. So it's not like in your face. You know what I mean? So if you can't tell, I really, really, really love color. And yet I love the traditional style, just to have something to show you. I love colorful, I love fun and playful, cheeky, but traditional decks. So these are the 10 decks, plus a couple of extras that, you know, are included for reasons, because I consider them part of like a set that will never, ever, ever leave my collection. Yes, Simon, I cheated on your tag a little, but would you expect any different from me? Come on, my friend. All right. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Much love, much light, many, many blessings. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.